rider or just underneath the rider. On the other hand, on a Duke you have it's somewhere over here, it sits over here, so that means you could have What's up YouTube? Good morning. So I'm on a Sunday morning ride inside the city itself. I'm just riding it around, and I saw a post in my Instagram asking that how you compare this motorcycle with the KTM Duke and the KTM RC390. First I thought that I'm not going to answer this question because it's unfair to compare a single cylinder with a two cylinder. Then I just had a feel that now at this point of time the Duke is being sold at 3 lakh rupees on road, and this thing comes for 4.3 lakh rupees. So yes, from a user point of view, they will have a second thought that whether I need to stay with the Duke or the RC and save some money and ride comfortably. So I'm gonna explain those things in this video. Welcome to my channel. So yes, in this video I'm gonna talk about 3 aspects of this motorcycle when you compare it with the KTM 390 series, which is the city riding capability, the highway riding and the track. So let's start with the city riding condition. When you compare this motorcycle with the Duke or the RC in city riding condition, I will tell that this is going to be a much more comfortable motorcycle because of few reasons actually. So if you see, the riding posture on this motorcycle is not too aggressive or not too straight, and the seats and the suspension of this motorcycle, both of them are soft when you compare it with the KTM 390 series. So that means this motorcycle is going to be a much comfortable motorcycle when you ride it on the city or the streets. And actually I'll tell you something, do you need that much of a power of a 390 to live in the city? I live in Bangalore and the traffic over here is too bad sometimes. You don't like to take a 390 sometimes in the peak traffic hours because that motorcycle heats up sometimes and it turns off also. I don't say that this motorcycle doesn't heats up or turns off and all. It actually dissipates heat in a better level than the KTM series. But I have a thought over here, like, do you require that much of power in city? Seriously? Many a times when I rode the Duke 390 in the city, I felt one thing. The accelerator of Duke 390 is like a vestigial organ in Bangalore city traffic. You know why? Because whenever you leave clutch itself, it is just pulling it like that. You don't have to use the accelerator. You leave the clutch, it gets into a speed, shift back, again attain some speed, again shift. So that's how it goes. I mean, I don't have to use my accelerator at all most of the time. But in this motorcycle, the power delivery is much more linear. It is not as aggressive as the 390, but it's way linear, way much more matured. You see, I'm not hurting anyone, I'm not hurting any wheels. If I wanted to be a squid, even I can do that. I just want to show that, that's all. So yes, in the city riding condition, I will tell that this motorcycle going to be a way much comfortable motorcycle. Definitely RC I don't suggest at all because of the riding posture, and if you need to sit like that in the traffic for more than 1 hour and all, it's not at all good. You might end up hurting your back. And when talking about the heating issue, it doesn't heat much, but the way it heats is a bit. I have an observation for you. So in RC series and the Duke series, I have seen that the heat is much more deflected towards your calf area, your knees and over to your balls, which is much more dangerous, you know. But on this motorcycle, the heat is much deflected towards the underneath portion of your thigh. That means it doesn't hurt much. Even if the motorcycle has heated up a lot, say you could just stand up on the foot pegs and you'll be able to ride comfortably for some time. So that's how you could manually do some heat dissipation when the motorcycle tried to bake up your legs or eggs. So now let's talk about the highway riding capacity of these motorcycles. Based on my physique, I have an observation here also. So the thing is that if you give all these three motorcycles to me and ask me to ride continuously for longer distances, yesterday I did an experiment on this, that's why I'm telling this, okay? I could ride this motorcycle without any stop at least for 250 kilometers to 300 without the first stop. Okay, rest it all depends on the way, how much time you take the brake and all, but the first brake will be, I can surely tell that it is somewhere will be from 250 to 300 kilometers. But if you give the same Duke to me and ask me to ride, I'll probably ride it for somewhere 200. Anyway, I could say that it will be anyway less than what I could do on this one. And there goes the RC, that will be much lesser because of the aggressive riding posture. So why I compared with my physique is that, I mean, I just took myself as a reference and did it. Maybe probably for a different person it will be a different kilometer range. But yeah, that's my take. If you're looking for a comfortable highway touring machine, this thing is awesome, people. And definitely the power is there. The bottom end of this motorcycle sucks if you try with the Duke 390. I need to say that it sucks because you see this, it doesn't give you the punch. You leave the clutch, it doesn't give you much thing. The power is located after the 5k RPM. So definitely when you compare one-on-one, this sucks. But I'll tell you, it could climb to 170 km per hour and it could even cross the Duke 390 over a long run. But never try to do that because we don't have that much safer roads to do these kind of long run like this. So cruising on the highways, I will tell that you might munch the same amount of kilometers on both these motorcycles, but you will be comfortable on this motorcycle. On the other hand, on the Duke and the RC, you'll be much more faster, but you tend to take breaks much often. And the final thing, the track. So let's compare these three motorcycles. Which one is good for track? I mean, before I tell you, I know that you guys know the answer. It is the RC390, which is the unbeatable thing on the track. I mean, the suspension setup, the kind of seats that it has, and the connection with the motorcycle, it's way too different from this motorcycle, and as well as the Duke 390. Definitely, out of three motorcycles, the RC390 wins without a second thought. But let's now see who's gonna take the second position. I will tell that the Duke is much better, man, because of few reasons. The Duke has a much more agility. You don't need that kind of an agility on the track. Actually, what I mean by agility is like taking from left to right. It need to be much more easier, and you need to be much more comfortable in putting your knee on the corner. You see this? Actually, I tell that I could do much better if I was on a Duke 390. Okay, this is a 200. Lovely couples. No helmets. What? Safety is one thing couples need to see, man. In all sense. Okay, yeah, I was telling about the agility. So in my city ride review itself, I told that the center of gravity of this motorcycle felt to be slightly more towards the rider or just underneath the rider. On the other hand, on a Duke, you have it's somewhere over here, it sits over here, so that means you could hug the weight of the motorcycle and ride it enjoyably and wholeheartedly. So definitely Duke 390 is still a better track machine than this. But I'll again, I want to make one more point here, that is it worth spending the 1.3 lakhs or the 1 lakh extra on this motorcycle? I'll tell you guys, this is a twin cylinder. The refinement of this motorcycle is uncomparable. Okay, the KTM RC390 or the Duke 390 will give a feel of that tuck 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 feel inside over here. I mean, you could feel it like that tuck tuck is coming on your balls and telling that tuck 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 tuck. But on this motorcycle, it is way much more comfortable. I don't say that the exhaust note of this motorcycle is way much refined or anything, but you see this, it sounds so good. It will definitely sound good than a Duke 390 or a KTM RC390. I don't want to compare the exhaust note because I mean different people have different genre of taste. Given a choice, I will choose the Yamaha R3 because this suits more onto my side, because you see I do a lot of city riding and a lot of highway riding and a less of track riding. Instead of going through the track, I go to mountains and ride. I could actually modify this motorcycle to be a track breed and I could take it. And if you are on a tighter budget, just don't think about much and you could go with the 390 series itself. And if you have enough amount of money, definitely people just go for it. You will enjoy it, you don't regret, unless you are that kind of a too much power hunger person. Okay, one main thing I forgot to compare. I know that so many people gonna come and comment about this, which is the braking capacity of these two motorcycles, especially when it comes to the highway as well as the city. Actually, again, when you compare the braking capacity of this motorcycle with the Duke 390, I should say that this sucks, man, again, because the bite of the 390 is so awesome, and Yamaha need to improve much on the braking system of this motorcycle. Actually, they plugged in an ABS to the older version. Apart from that, I don't feel like an awesome improvement in braking, but yes, they have a lot of work to do. And let's talk somewhat about the maintenance cost of these two motorcycles. Definitely Yamaha will make your pocket a bit more empty than the KTM series, because the KTM is much, but the parts of KTM are much cheaper when you compare to this. Slightly, I'm telling, but you see one thing, the amount of service that you need to do on these two motorcycles, when you see, it's always like both of the motorcycles does their servicing in 5,000 6,000 kilometers, and both of them actually cost 2 to 3k on a regular service. And when it comes to parts change, I'll tell that Yamaha a bit more expensive and KTM will be much more cheaper. And the mileage, do you guys want me to review on mileage? Seriously, I think I'm not going to do that. If you are thinking about these two motorcycles, then I will tell that don't think about mileage. I know, seriously guys, I haven't never checked a mileage on a Duke 390. This one I did a mileage review, you could go and see that. See, even with this, you will be the first one to take out from the signal. How refined it is. Basically, if you are following me for a longer time, you know that I'm not a KTM hater at all. That slight feel on your mind, I'm not a KTM hater at all. I love that motorcycle. So hope you like this video. If you have any doubts, please comment. I read all comments and I reply for that. So if you like the video, do share some love in the form of likes and comments. And as always, if you are someone like me who love to enjoy different kind of motorcycles and know about it, subscribe. See you in the next video. Goodbye.